What's up, everybody? We know the last thing you need is another fitness podcast to catch you up on the newest trends, fad diets, and factitious fat-blasting workouts that'll be dead within the coming decade. Enter Mariana and myself, Tony. We made the Fitness Stuff podcast to make exercise and nutrition science practical.
So today we're talking about why the health and fitness industry sucks, specifically nutrition.
We're doing part one of part two today, right? Part one of part two. What's wrong with the fitness and health industry? We're going to focus this one on the problems that we see in the nutrition industry, really so we can clearly understand it, and then how do we navigate it?
Yep.
And help you navigate it.
Make your lives a little bit easier.
So I'm going to start by asking you a loaded question.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
All right. What's wrong with the nutritional side of the health industry right now?
Wow, this is just so specific. There's a lot of things wrong, obviously. I could talk about it forever. The first thing that comes to mind naturally is misinformation. Misinformation, that goes for both ends of fitness, nutrition, health, wellness. You get to say that for anything on social media, but specifically people having a platform, anyone being able to have a platform and being able to share whatever they please, whenever they want, and spreading misinformation and people not really knowing how to navigate it, what's true, what isn't true. See that a lot on the end of nutrition when it comes to not only weight loss, but the fear-mongering behind certain foods and what foods cause disease and what foods are going to detoxify your body and what foods are going to make you live forever versus what foods are going to make you die early. Spectrum.
I did see an article. I saw an article that every hot dog you eat takes 8 minutes off your life.
8 minutes. Why does that sound
8
familiar
minutes.
to me?
It's published in the New York Times. It was a silly
Okay,
study.
we're going to stop there because...
Quoted. Yeah, but that's why I just saw that. But no, okay, because I think you nailed two things on the head, at least what I caught. Because one, yeah, there's misinformation everywhere in any topic, in any given field.
Yep.
But I think you're right. How we navigate that misinformation in nutrition, I feel like no one really has a compass. If you're going through and you're on the news and you can see something that's not adding up, or you see a headline article, whatever, on Yahoo that says something ridiculous, you can navigate pretty well. But when it comes to nutrition, that's where people are lost. So I think that's what you're nail on the head there. And the second thing that it really caught me, which I didn't even think about until you said it, is I think, especially over the last couple of years in news, we learned that fear catches you. So is that something, I think we both agree on it. You see this everywhere, is everyone loves to paint a bad guy when it comes to nutrition.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, so let's start there. Is there a bad guy in nutrition?
I think the bad guy in nutrition is your own brain. So how you choose to take information, what you choose to do with the information, because pinpointing a bad guy when it comes to nutrition is really hard because there's so many key players in terms of, does it start from at the farmer's end in terms of how they grow their food, and are they honestly growing their food? Are they actually using organic practices or not using chemicals that may cause harm? Who knows? But then there's the manufacturing process and the distributing process and the food labeling process. The amount of things that can go wrong in the very beginning, and it just explodes into people being unsure about what they're actually eating, which is okay to question our food system because it is very flawed. The U.S. food system is very flawed. There's no denying that. But what we do know is from manufacturing, distributing, food labeling, we do know it's sometimes dishonest. We do know that food labels don't mean everything. We also do know that the majority of foods that people fearmonger, if they're coming in a package, if they're an ultra processed food, okay, comparing that to eating a whole food or fruits, vegetables, whole grains, of course this food isn't as great. But it doesn't mean that this is going to cause X, Y, Z.
Okay, so it seems like it's because if you lay it out like that, it seems like it's a very complex system, right? It's not just like one piece of the puzzle could go wrong.
Yeah.
There's 100 moving pieces. And now I'm even thinking, because that's one aspect I didn't even think about before, with how massive the U.S. infrastructure is as far as like just how much food we consume.
Yeah.
Like just how complicated things need to be to, a banana on my kitchen counter is massively complicated. And that's just one piece, right? Not even getting into processed foods. But from what it seems like, it's just because something is processed, or you can point at one point in that massively complex system. You can't really tell if something is good or bad off of one of those points.
Yeah. And I completely think that's the case. And that's just one end of the spectrum. And then you look at what people choose to share. And it's just like any sort of misinformation gets spread is due to one, bias in personal opinion and personal experiences, also not taking the time to determine whether or not a news article or something they read in headlines or something they see on social media is true or not. And it's just like this ripple effect with anything, but especially in nutrition. And it takes away from going back to the question you asked me about why is it flawed? Where does this kind of start? I think, and many people, many professionals in the space will hopefully agree with me on this. The biggest issue is people don't have access to safe, healthy, affordable food. But then you have a small group of people on social media that are completely neglecting that side and telling you all of these foods you shouldn't be eating because they are going to cause disease and they're going to cause cancer.
Okay, so where the misinformation, a lot of it is coming from the people that you see on social media most of the time who do have access to groceries that probably, you'll see, oh, here's what I eat in a day. There's $100 worth of food in like a single day.
I literally did that
But
the other day.
there's, I guess, technically what's optimal, even though it might not be optimal, but what's quote unquote optimal. And then there's, okay, but let's talk about like real life application. What about 95+% of people, right? Is this realistic? Is this doable? I think that's what really gets the picture messed up is social media paints this picture that you have to do this if you want to be healthy, right? This pretty picture, everything whole, everything fresh, everything from the market down the street, whatever it is. And so, okay, that's cool if you live in like Los Angeles on the beach where it's summer year round and you're making $250,000 a year. What about everybody else? Like, what about everybody else? It's like, okay, that's not an option. That's not a realistic option. So where do you think we go there? Is it an option that's fixable? We can say, okay, we need to challenge those people, or do we need to teach people that it's okay to not live a life like that?
Oh, this is a tough one because challenging it really starts at the level of lobbying to your government officials. The lack of access is very much so a political issue. Food policy and politics is such a huge topic and something that certain states are very passionate about and certain states are not very passionate about. I went to undergrad at the University of Vermont, and that's when my eyes were really open to that because the systems and services in place for getting people access to food are just well above that of any other state out there. But that comes down to, that's a policy level. But then when you think about kind of just this level of disconnect with people who just don't even want to consider that. And there is such a huge focus on foods that are unsafe, foods that are going to make you gain weight. This is the best way of eating. This is how you should eat. Or everyone telling you a different way to eat. How do you know what to think? So I think that kind of starts to get into a different topic, but that's a really hard problem to solve in terms of just getting people to speak more about it. But really that happens at a policy level and then not being ignorant to it on social media.
The policies, because I've been in the space for a long time, and I've never even thought once of considering that. So do you think that's a realistic approach? Because I just didn't even know it was possible. Is that a realistic approach, or is it maybe a more realistic approach going towards just properly educating people? And I don't think nutrition education needs to be as confusing as most people, usually the people who are painting bad guys and good guys. I don't think it needs to be that complicated, right? To understand the fundamentals that will get you 70, 80, 90, those are arbitrary numbers, but percent of your health, right?
Yeah.
To get you to a healthy body composition, to get you feeling and performing well, optimizing as you go from there. I think that stuff can be learned fairly easy, right? It doesn't need to be as complicated as people make it out to be. So in doing that, I think that kind of gives people a little compass, right? Helps them navigate who's full-ish and who you can actually trust. Because we talked about this last week a little bit more. If you hear someone talking about something, nutrition focused on social media, right? A couple signs that you can tell, okay, is this person full of crap? Or is this person somewhat legitimate? We were talking about a few reasons there. What are a few things that you can list that you can really tell, okay, I should take this advice and I should really start using it, or I should completely ignore this.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think like when I'm talking about on the policy level, like that's a whole separate issue. So then it's okay,
Yeah.
moving out of that, one, recognizing it, and then two, there's the whole separate issue of overcomplicating nutrition, which is what you're talking about. And specifically, we're going to talk about it specifically in the context of weight loss right now and health, nutrition and health and weight loss, which is where you predominantly a lot of the time see misinformation about nutrition is eat this to lose 20 pounds or this food is going to make you gain weight and
everywhere.
yeah. So I think that starts with what you can do as the consumer is immediately raise an eyebrow to these adverse and just crazy health claims that sound too good to be true. Because one, weight loss takes work and it takes time and it's not glamorous and there's no quick and easy fix. So right away.
It's simple, not easy, right? It's simple, not easy. Okay.
So anytime that it sounds too good to be true, move on, unfollow, block, say you're not interested. Be cognizant of your space and what you're consuming, which a lot of people just aren't nowadays. And especially in the nutrition and weight loss space, just even question it. If you want to stick around for a bit, like maybe question it. Because again, we can't change these people. These people are not going to change. The ones who claim foods are toxic or claim that you're going to die from eating XYZ or claim that this supplement is going to cure cancer. What did I just see the other day? I made a TikTok on it that got taken down and then it got put back up about sea moss and chlorophyll.
Tell me about it.
I think this leads into another issue about supplements. So nutrition and dietary supplements, and this also gets into, this could go outside of nutrition, but supplements that are going to make you less bloated, make you lose weight, clear up your skin, give you all of the vitamins and minerals you need, but no one wants to tell you that it cures cancer. And it's, do you even know that supplements are not regulated? All of the health claims and anything they say, their ingredients, they don't have to be approved by anyone. That's why there's hundreds of thousands of different companies, because anyone can start their own supplement company and say whatever the hell they want to say.
That's the scary part to me, is I don't think anyone, and I was talking about this a while ago, I think it was the Health and Supplement Education Act in the 90s that got passed. And that's what pretty much made it to where there is almost zero standards to nutritional supplements to be sold. Like, people are like, oh, okay, zero. No, like zero. Like, you can put whatever you want in a nutritional supplement. You can misdose, you can mislabel, you can misclaim. You don't need anything to say. We could put some sea salt in a tab and we can probably find something to say, okay, hey, this will help you lose 20 pounds by next week. Nothing's stopping us from doing that. And if we market it, I think that's what people don't realize is how, and now I'm kind of connecting dots too, even though I think nutrition and supplements are a little different, they do definitely overlap. Yeah. I'm guessing a lot of the misinformation, a lot of the terrible trends in nutrition stem from how just terribly wrong from the fundamental level the supplement industry is, right? Just based on driving profit, driving money, driving marketing, based on whatever costs.
Yeah, same with the weight loss industry. It goes the same way. And diet, like there is so much money in that. So much money in it.
Billions. Yeah.
So it's these are the same people that are claiming that these supplements are the cure-all and the answer to all of your health problems and weight issues. And these are the same people going around the grocery store, like pulling out a carton of almond milk and saying, don't trust this ingredient label. You're trusting a label
That's what cracks me up.
that no one had to approve. You don't know what's in it. You have no idea. No idea. It's just like...
Those ones kill me. The picking out, especially, I saw another article the other day. It was like titled like 50 healthy foods, and healthy was in quotation marks, that are actually terrible for you. And like on that list were things, I think it actually was like oat milk, almond milk. I think it was even like sparkling water, turkey bacon, like Greek yogurt, like simple things like that are terrible. I'm like, who's based off this? And I think it ties into a couple of things, right? One, very much driven by clicks. Are you going to read an article that is saying, oh, these things that you're eating right now are terrible for you, they're damaging to you? Or would you read an article like we've talked about, like the basics, right? Let's talk about macronutrient distribution, simple things like that. Let's talk about, how to get more protein in your diet. That's not sexy. You're not going to click on. Who cares? But oh, something's going to kill me.
I
I'm
gotta
gonna read
know.
that. Like I'm gonna read that. I'm gonna listen to it. It's no, like you just nailed it on the head. If it sounds too good to be true, or if it sounds too ludicrous, it is.
And I think you just get into kind of shifting gears here, but like whole other problem is people don't understand, and I don't know why this cannot get into people's head, but in the nutrition science literature, it is quite literally nearly impossible to say this food causes this health outcome, because your health is due to one, a variety of factors that can be very hard to control for in a randomized controlled trial. Like, it's nearly impossible. And now we know, since the science has evolved, it's not about specific foods anymore. It's about your dietary patterns. It's just like saying, okay, yeah, I had this greasy sausage, egg, bacon, cheese, bagel sandwich for breakfast on a Saturday morning. And then the rest of the day, I just had my like kale salad. I had some quinoa, some whole grains, lots of fruits and veggies. It's like that one food, or like the bacon or the sausage, it's not going to give you heart disease, because how are you eating every day? Like the majority of the time, how are you eating?
You perfectly put. And I think it's even a step further from that is not just your dietary patterns as a whole, but like all the different things that go into your health, like your sleep, your stress, your activity level, your body composition, right? There's millions of different metrics you could use to track your health. Yeah, one, like I mentioned the article, hot dog takes 8 minutes off your life. I guarantee someone eating 2 hot dogs a day, every day for the rest of their life, will live longer if they're sleeping well, they're active, they have a healthy body composition.
Good genetics.
And the rest of their diet is, yeah, good genetics. The rest of their diet is mainly whole foods, high protein, right? They're going to live so much longer than someone who never touches a hot dog for the rest of their life, is overweight with low lean body mass, doesn't sleep well, constantly stressed, and very inactive and sits, right? The odds are the person eating the hot dogs every single day is going to live decades longer than the first one. So I think it's easy to say, oh, let's pinpoint, like, again, paint an enemy on whatever food we want to talk about today. But it's just break it down with logic. Nothing's going to defy that sort of logic. That's, yeah, the logic behind what health
No, I know.
is. So I think
people don't like logic. They don't like logic.
No, people don't like, people aren't big fans of logic. But I think to navigate, that's what you got to have, those kind of like navigating underlying questions, right, to ask yourself. Because you can't blame someone, especially not in this industry, if they do see someone who's ripped, looks great, looks healthy, right, clear skin, things like that. It doesn't matter if it's edited or whatever. But you can't blame someone from outside the industry coming in, seeing a video, maybe someone sitting at home, they're a little overweight, they feel like crap all the time, they're not sleeping, they're like, crap, I really need to fix my diet. They see someone who looks healthy, who sounds healthy, who's energetic, and they're like, all you got to do is stop eating carbs. Again, if you have probably emotion tied to how you're not feeling great, and you're like, dang, I don't know why that would or would not work, but this person that looks like I want to look does it. So it's hard to blame people, because obviously,
yeah,
you
can't. That gets into, I'm so happy you hit that, because this is another point of why the nutrition space sucks. Is now nutrition has become associated with your body size and your weight, and nutrition is associated with wanting to lose weight. And it's no, because some people are perfectly fine at the weight they are, and maybe on paper they have a high BMI, whatever, who cares, but they can be healthier than a very slim person. And I think that is so harmful in the sense of nutrition just being associated with weight loss and your body size. And this is way more of the fitness space and bodybuilding, all that stuff. But anyone will say most bodybuilders aren't healthy. They don't care about, this is generalization, but if it fits in the macros, if it fits in your calories, like that doesn't mean you're healthy at all.
Yeah, people stepping on stage at 6.5% body fat, starving themselves. They're depleted in micronutrients.
Yeah.
They do a blood test. They're deficient in so many vitamins and minerals in their body that actually run for normal health. Their hormones are screwed up. They're not sleeping. It's not healthy. It's not good. I don't like using the terms good and bad, healthy and unhealthy that much, but yeah, it's one thing doesn't equal healthy. One thing doesn't equal unhealthy. So it does suck. I think you're right. I think nutrition is often tied to, if someone says, I'm trying to fix my diet, you automatically assume weight loss. You automatically assume something to change your body, like how it looks, not actually the function. That's the big issue, the function. So I think that's a big piece that goes into it. So, okay, as we give it down, let's give the people 3 things hop on. I'm going to hit you three real quick ones. Three things they can take to use as a compass through the shitstorm that is social media today, talking about nutrition.
Three things.
And one of them could be the first one you said.
I think the first thing is definitely more general for any misinformation, but protect your space, especially if you are someone who likes to consume fitness, nutrition, health content. If you see something that seems outlandish or crazy or doesn't resonate with your values, who you are as a person, you don't like it, block them, unfollow them. Again, say you're not interested. And also fill your space up with people that make a conscious effort to establish trust and share the information that is out there. I like Tony and I sometimes. And number two would be to really think of yourself as a student when you are watching someone share information about nutrition, because that's what they're doing. They are attempting to educate you as the consumer of their content. And this is anywhere, whether you read something, watch something, think of yourself as a student learning. And if you're confused about something, if something doesn't sound right, go strive to get a different answer, even if that's one other place, even if that's going to see someone and ask them a question that you know is in the nutrition space and be like, hey, I saw this and I was confused. I don't mean you have to go read the literature and do a deep dive, but question it.
But be curious.
And then a third is, I feel like really, I don't know if this goes back into number two, but what are your goals? What are you trying to do when it comes to food? Are you trying to improve your diet? Are you trying to lose weight? Are you just trying to feel better in your own skin? And can you make these changes? Can you see yourself implementing changes that people are sharing or implementing some sort of habits that people are sharing? Do you really think you could stick to these? And this comes to mainly, I think, like diet culture or when people are telling you to restrict foods.
That's huge.
Could you realistically adhere to that for the rest of your life? Think about that for a second. Take a moment and think if you could do that.
That's real. That's almost the biggest one. Could you do this forever? And why is that? Because
going up and down and back and forth and all around with trying all of these different things with your diet. That's what will happen if something is too intense, unenjoyable, too restrictive. And this is especially in the area of dieting. You're going to revert back to those old habits. You're going to fall off of it. It is not sustainable. And you want to do things that, one, you enjoy, but also you could see yourself doing forever. Is that cutting out carbs for the rest of your life? For the average person? For the majority of people, absolutely not. It's just people really, I did. A little warm in here.
You stood up in your seat. We are talking fast. Okay, so in review, three things people can do. One, your space. Fill the good. And I love that advice because here's the thing too. A lot of people see things as black as white. If you do, because I think the first question that would pop up to most people is, oh, what if I block someone who is right? Or what if I block someone who is trustful? That's okay too. There are people that say the truth in a very unwelcoming, unwarming, unhelpful way. We know a lot of people like that. You don't have to listen to them, and that's okay. So protect your space, number one. Number two is be curious, right? Like just be curious. Continue if something might, and even if it's, again, someone like you or I, who I think we're pretty trustworthy people.
Yeah, but sometimes people don't like my content, and I encourage them to block me. I'm like, if this doesn't suit you, go ahead, protect your space.
Yeah, but in the be curious, it's even, I want people to question what I say. I want people to question what you say, because here's what I notice if you're curious, and this is where people fall apart, is if you're curious and you ask questions, the people who you end up trusting can answer any question you have very clearly and very simply. If you question people who do not know what they're talking about, if you question are giving misguided information, they don't have many answers. They have not thought the problem all the way through, and that's probably why they're saying what they're saying. Someone who cuts out carbs hasn't thought, oh, this isn't realistic, people can't do it. So if you question them, it typically falls apart. So be curious, because then you find out people who actually know what they're talking about, because they can make it simple. And third is feeding off of that a little bit. Number three, your individual goal, not what your friend needs, not what your coworkers need, not what your husband or wife needs. What do you need, and does it fit your lifestyle? Yeah. If you're a mom with 3 kids and a full-time job, maybe a single mom, you're probably not going to need what the 20-year-old fitness influencer who has a part-time job and makes content the rest of the day that lives in the gym and works next to and has a girlfriend in Whole Foods, whatever. You two are not, you don't need the same thing. You're not the same people. So I'm not calling anybody out, but I think those are 3 solid pieces of advice.
You can call people out though.
I think we put a,
I give you permission.
I'll try to bite my tongue. In the fitness one, I might jump out on accident. Try and control myself. All right.
That was episode 1. I'm excited.
First one ever. Take it with you. Save it. You'll be listening to this 10 years from now.
I hope so.
Like, holy cow.
Next time around, next episode
the
will
world.
be on fitness.
Yes. So next one is part 2. What's wrong with the fitness side of the health industry?
Yeah. I'll shut my mouth
Let's
a
do
little
it.
bit, let Tony speak a bit more.
Let's talk. All right.
End it there.
And that's a wrap on episode 1. I can only say that one time in my life. It's the first day of the rest of our lives. I hope you guys really enjoyed it, really got some things out of it. Of course, we are a work in progress on the podcast. It's our first ever, but we want to get better. We plan on taking this so far. So if you guys have notes, comments, concerns, or even just messages that you liked it, shoot Mariana or I a DM on Instagram, because we would love to hear back from you guys on what you wish we would go deeper into, where we'd want to spend more time, and what topics we could go into on the future. The second thing is, I got a favor to ask. We just made a brand new social account on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram for this podcast specifically. On Instagram and TikTok, you can find it at fs.pod. That's fs.pod. Fitness stuff was taken, but we thought that was cute. It was trendy. It caught. On YouTube, it's going to be our full name, just fitness stuff in parentheses for normal people. And that's where we're going to post both the audio and video content if you want to chill there, have it with your morning cup of coffee, or whatever fits best. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. That was the first one. It's a wrap. We will talk to you guys every Monday and Friday, coming out with new episodes. I can't wait to talk to you soon.